Right now, Thomas Markle Jr., the sister of Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, has lashed out at his sister and her husband, Prince Harry, in the most brutal interview he has ever given.
Do you think your sister, Meghan Markle, has ruined Prince Harry?
The answer is yes. I mean, every single interview, every single picture, every place they go, Meghan grabs him. Meghan controls him. Meghan tells him no. Meghan stands in front of him. She controls every single situation like she is the star. And she's turned Prince Harry into a man of non-substance, for her own well-being.
Meghan Markle is always attempting to, shall we say, build relationships with very, very, very rich men.
Royal family, you should be so thankful this woman wanted to leave, because she's not going to bring any good to the branding of the royal. She's going to downgrade it to a level of ghetto. And that's what it is. This is just bad.
And I think it was a desperate plea because they've made their bed for the last 6 years and now they're sleeping on them. And the entire world knows exactly what's happening with those two.
Do you have any advice for Harry?
Yeah, stop talking about the royals. Stop giving away all the secrets about the royals. And, love your children and love your wife, but also love your grandmother and love your father.
She doesn't know us. It's just very bizarre how she just basically brushed the entire family under the carpet like we don't exist, and then lied about not having a family and lied about she doesn't have a family that she's always wanted. We've always been here.
Harry just can't give her anything else anymore. He served his purpose. His purpose is over and they're no longer aligned in purpose. So it's time to move on.
She's already gotten the benefit of her bargain with Harry because she got the title. That's what she wanted. She wanted to be world famous. She wanted the title. You remember when Harry was single, he was the elephant. He was the one, the most eligible bachelor on earth. You could be a royal, you could become world famous overnight, you could live in a castle, you could have access to the crown jewels, you would be a princess. My God, yes, he could have had his pick.
All right, I do blame Meghan Markle. Meghan Markle, stain of humanity. Yes, Meghan, and I hope you're watching right now. I hope you're watching, Meghan, because you are the stain of humanity.
She'll ever let Harry go because she is so fixated on having a title that she doesn't even have or deserve anymore, right? Yeah. Technically, she's not part of the royal family. On paper, on the website, Duke and Duchess of Sussex, and I think that's her biggest. That's anybody.
It's December 2025, holiday season. The time of year everyone talks about family, forgiveness, warmth, candles glowing in windows, soft music humming in the background. And there she is, Meghan Markle, smiling into the camera from Montecito, filming her Netflix lifestyle show, talking about compassion, healing, kindness, and values like family really is the center of everything. It all looks so perfect, so curated, so gentle. But while that image is being polished and posted, something far darker is happening on the other side of the world. In the Philippines, her father, 81 years old, is lying in intensive care, fighting for his life, emergency surgery, a leg amputation.
She's decided you're all too big a problem. Therefore, you have to be cut loose. And I got to be honest, I knew Meghan for a bit before she met Harry. Did exactly the same to me. Bang, done. She did that to many people that she knew, that she'd either worked with or was friends with or whatever. It just seems to me she's what I would call a ruthless social climber.
Blood clots, doctors racing against time, life or death. And in that moment, when most daughters would be on the next flight, what does he get? No call, no visit, no bedside goodbye, just a letter, not even personal, sent through representatives, cold, clinical, distant, like he's a PR problem, not a father who once held her in his arms as a newborn. That contrast alone is enough to make your stomach drop. Compassion on screen, silence in real life. And this is where the story stops being sad and starts getting explosive. Because while Meghan stays quiet, someone else in the family has clearly reached a breaking point. Her brother, Thomas Markle Jr. This is not some random relative popping up for attention. This is the same man who, back in 2018, before the royal wedding, publicly warned Prince Harry not to marry her. He didn't whisper it. He didn't hint. He put it in writing. He called her a phony, a bully, cold, conceited. He said flat out, she will ruin your life.
I mean, that moment when Prince Harry, who's never met your father, says that Meghan has no father. What did you think of that?
I think it's horrible. The documentary is so far off on so many different levels.
And the world mocked him for it. Now, fast forward to now. And Thomas Markle Jr. is back with something far bigger. He says he's writing a tell-all book. And this isn't about childhood spats or sibling jealousy. According to sources, this book is aimed at one very specific chapter Meghan has never fully explained. Those years before Suits, the years when she was supposedly a broke, struggling actress in Los Angeles, yet somehow appearing on billionaire yachts in Monaco. And this is where people start paying attention, because these aren't rumors pulled from thin air. Photos exist, real photos. Meghan on luxury yachts surrounded by wealthy older men, invitations to elite yacht parties, documented appearances, but never an explanation. No names, no context, no clarification, just silence, every single time. Now here's the problem for Meghan. Her brother wasn't watching from afar. He was there during those years. He saw things up close, and now reportedly he's ready to stop protecting her. Whether you believe the yacht stories are exaggerated or not, what matters is this: Thomas Jr. believes he knows the truth, and the timing couldn't be worse. Her father is dying. She won't even visit, and that raises an ugly question no amount of Netflix branding can drown out. Has Thomas Jr. finally decided he's done keeping her secrets? Do you sense that maybe trouble may lay ahead? I've always thought that. Honestly, I've always thought that because, not that I want to bring up the fact that I wrote that letter, but I wrote that letter a long time ago in hindsight of her. Let's rewind to that letter because people forget just how serious it was.
Prince Harry wanted to make amends and come meet my dad. Wow, that's just crazy. I'll tell you right now, Prince Harry, if it has to do with anything with the Netflix crew and cameras, don't even bother. My dad's had enough crap from bogus PR stunts to last him for the rest of his life.
Right before the royal wedding, Thomas Jr. wrote directly to Prince Harry. It went viral worldwide. He didn't soften a single word. He called Meghan shallow, a phony, a bully. He begged Harry to walk away before it was too late. Has she made any attempt to contact your father since he had his stroke? None whatsoever. And that matters now more than ever, because Harry ignored the warning, married her anyway, and then, almost like a script playing out, everything Thomas Jr. predicted came true. The family collapse, the fallout with William and Kate, the permanent royal exit, the endless media wars, burned bridges everywhere they land. Thomas Jr. didn't guess. He called it. So when that same man announces a book that will reportedly expose Meghan's pre-fame lifestyle, people stop laughing. This isn't a troll online. This is her brother, someone who grew up with her, someone who watched her patterns for decades. I do believe Meghan is driving this whole caravan for him. He is so stressed out. And here's the word that keeps coming up: phony. Thomas Jr. didn't call her confused or lost or misguided. He called her fake. And you don't use that word unless you've watched someone perform for years. Not one moment, a pattern. That's why this book has people nervous, because family tell-alls hit harder than headlines. You can spin the press, you can scrub the internet, but you can't erase memory.
How can she sit there saying, I so love my family, my family love me, and ruthlessly cut you, Tom Sr. and Samantha out of her life?
That Meghan Markle really did expect Harry to be a billionaire when she met him. She was incredibly disappointed to find out he's only worth a couple million, and she's gonna have to actually work and hawk these jams and jellies and dog biscuits to have the lifestyle that she wants.
Okay, let's talk about the evidence that's been out there for years. Between 2004 and 2011, Meghan wasn't a star. She graduated Northwestern. She had small roles, Deal or No Deal Briefcase Girl, Blink and You Miss It TV appearances. Nothing that explains yachts, Monaco, or elite access. Nothing that explains non-stop Europe trips. And yet, during those exact years, she's photographed on luxury yachts in the Mediterranean. Elite parties, wealthy men, no explanation, ever. Author Kirby Summers documented her invitation to Yacht Week 2016 in Croatia. And this wasn't innocent sailing. Even GQ described Yacht Week as Sodom and Gomorrah at sea. Elite, hedonistic, closed decks, serious money. So people ask the obvious questions. Who paid? Who invited her? What kind of relationships were these? And this is where the timeline starts to feel uncomfortable, because Meghan's biggest leaps didn't come through auditions. They came through connections. She married a Hollywood producer. She entered Soho House. She grew close to Marcus Anderson. Elite circles, powerful rooms, doors that don't open randomly. And according to sources close to Thomas Jr.'s book, he's done being vague. He's reportedly ready to name specifics. Real people, real events. Direct contradictions to the story Meghan sells today. Go in there and try and change a 1,000-year-old tradition and monarchy to your own liking. Who does that? He announced the book in May 2025, right as Meghan launched her Netflix show, branding herself as authentic and family first. He called that image nonsensical. That's not nostalgia, that's confrontation. Now let's talk about what finally snapped something inside him. On December 3rd, Thomas Markle Sr. went into emergency surgery. Doctors amputated his left leg. It was black and blue, blood clot, gangrene fears, sepsis risk, 3 hours on the table. He's 81, 2 heart attacks, a stroke. This wasn't minor, this was survival. Thomas Jr. is there, full-time caregiver, watching his father fight to live. And Meghan? Silence. Then a letter. Through representatives. No call, no visit. Put yourself in Thomas Jr.'s shoes. Your father is dying. You're the one at the hospital. And your sister, with all the money, access, and privilege in the world, handles it like a task on a checklist. Why protect someone's secrets after that? That's why sources say Thomas Jr. feels he has nothing left to lose. The family break is final, so why stay quiet? And here's the thing Meghan has never done, not once, she has never directly addressed the yacht allegations. No denial, no explanation, nothing. And when public figures face false claims, they usually shut them down fast. Silence only fuels suspicion. There's also that strange gap between 2004 and 2011. For someone so documented, that chapter is oddly empty. Missing details, missing records, like a blank page. If Thomas Jr. fills in that page, it could answer 3 huge questions. Who funded her lifestyle? How did she really land suits? And what role did she play inside elite social circles? Because her entire brand depends on one story. Compassionate, authentic, self-made, family values. If that story cracks, everything attached to it cracks too. Netflix, sponsors, trust, and Harry. Did he really know the full truth? As December 2025 moves on, Thomas Markle Sr. recovers from amputation. Thomas Jr. cares for him and writes a book. Meghan manages the crisis from California while pushing her brand. And one thing is clear, Thomas Jr. was right once. About her character, about the fallout, about the destruction left behind. So if he's right again and he decides to speak, those yacht years won't stay buried. And once details come from someone who was actually there, it becomes a lot harder to dismiss them as gossip. This isn't about saying someone has a past. Everyone does. The real question is whether Thomas Jr. believes that past explains who she really is, and whether he's finally ready to make it public. And that's the part people keep missing. This isn't just a family squabble playing out in public. This is about timing, memory, and resentment colliding at the worst possible moment. When someone feels abandoned during a medical crisis, something fundamental breaks. Loyalty doesn't just crack, it shatters. And once that happens, silence stops feeling noble and starts feeling foolish. Think about it. Thomas Jr. isn't a young man chasing clout. He's in his late 50s, living thousands of miles away, watching his father struggle through pain, infection risks, and the reality of losing a limb. He's the one cleaning wounds, talking to doctors, waiting through long nights. And every hour that passes without a call from Meghan becomes louder than any insult ever spoken. Silence can scream, and in this case, it screams abandonment. That kind of moment forces a brutal mental shift. You stop asking, how do I protect her? And start asking, why am I protecting her at all? Especially when the person being protected has built an entire brand on compassion while showing none behind closed doors. And here's what really unsettles people following this closely. Thomas Jr. has never said he hates his sister. That's the strange part. Even now, his words don't sound like pure revenge. They sound like disappointment mixed with exhaustion. Like someone who held back for years, biting his tongue while watching the world fall in love with a version of Meghan that doesn't match his memories. That's why this potential book feels different from tabloid noise. It's not screaming accusations every 5 minutes. It's quiet, delayed, timed after years of restraint. And that's often when the most damaging stories emerge, when someone has already tried silence and found it unbearable. And let's be honest about something else. If there was a simple, innocent explanation for those yacht years, it would have been given already. A quick statement, a clarified timeline, something to shut it down. But instead, it's always been avoidance. And avoidance doesn't erase curiosity, it multiplies it. Especially when photographs exist and questions refuse to die. What people want to know isn't scandal for the sake of scandal, it's consistency. If your public story is authenticity, gaps matter. If your brand is truth, unanswered questions matter. And if your image is built on surviving hardship, people will ask how luxury yachts fit into that narrative. And then there's Harry, that uncomfortable shadow hanging over everything. Because if this story explodes, it doesn't just challenge Meghan's past, it challenges the foundation of their marriage. People will ask whether he knew everything or whether he was shown the same curated version the public was sold. That question alone is enough to make palace walls echo. What happens next depends on one person's decision. Thomas Jr. can still walk away. He can still keep those memories locked in his head. But based on everything happening, the silence, the amputation, the years of being dismissed, it doesn't feel like he's in a forgiving mood anymore. And once someone decides they're done protecting an image that never protected them, there's no rewind button. Stories don't leak slowly at that point. They spill, details connect, timelines sharpen, names appear, and the public starts rewatching old interviews with new eyes. So this isn't about whether people like Meghan or not. It's about whether the version of her that's been sold can survive contact with someone who remembers the unedited draft. Because memory doesn't care about branding. And family memories, especially the ones held back for years, tend to surface whether anyone is ready or not.